Now, if you think you have bad luck because of your ADHD, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do so you don't have to fear it ever again. See, it feels like the whole world around you is falling apart. Like nothing is in control, it's all just chaos. But in reality, all of these things are not random as much as you think they are. They're almost actually happening in a calculated way. So as you'll see behind me, there are black cats. These black cats represent all of the things that are going wrong for you right now where you think it's bad luck. Actually, moments where you could have created a formula and learned how to approach your situation differently. Now, this ladder represents a tool that you're using incorrectly and is making things worse for you, making you feel unlucky and enhancing that instead of being useful as a tool to help you progress. And that's just a mirror. I don't believe in luck, so here it goes. Ready? Clearly nothing's gonna go wrong with this. Oh, I did it, I did it, I did it. Hi, I'm Nick McLaughlin. I'm an executive function coach, giving you strategies to help you become an unstoppable leader with unstoppable focus and follow through using fun analogies like these and some props. So if you think you have bad luck, I'm choking, oh crap. But in reality, it's actually a lack of something called a formula. And the magic about a formula is it gives you certainty. And that happens when you lack consistency, habits, and routines that work for you. But really a lot of that comes because you're not tracking the data of what's really going on behind the scenes. Struggling with my ADHD was one of the hardest things when I was a kid because I used to think I was the only person in the world that had it, and I felt like nobody could understand me. And no matter how hard I tried, it just seems like I was going to be this failure for life. Nothing I did worked. I tried medication, planners, therapy, productivity tools. I did everything, and it just didn't seem to work for me. I remember there was this point where I believed genuinely, wow, I guess I'm so much of a screw up because all of these things don't work for me that I'm just gonna have to face this for life, and I'm that far gone. But I want this video to reinforce something in you that I wish someone told me when I was younger, and I just found out about my ADHD. Get a cat. I'm just kidding. If you could just learn how to manage your executive functioning, everything could be so much better. And you'll feel so proud of yourself for knowing that you are actually in control of your life. One thing I tell my clients that they tell me really helped them is just acknowledging that if you are struggling with your ADHD, it's because you lack a system. Having ADHD, we just tend to jump into things. A lot of times it's because we either don't have an intention or we set the wrong intention, or we don't really put that effort into really understanding the full picture before we do something. We're either completely run by our dopamine or not at all. So we want to create strategic decisions that are calculated. And the way you can do that is by associating strategies and numbers with what you're doing. So I can bet you right now that all of the things that are going wrong are actually happening for a reason that you're not seeing. And once you spot that decision, you're gonna realize how much is actually in your control. So what's really happening? Let's say, for example, you struggle with time management. Perfect example of this is I used to drive past gas stations with my tank on almost E. But then I'd think, I don't wanna go, I'm just gonna go home and I'll do it tomorrow. And then the next day I'd wake up in a rush, forgetting I had something to do, somewhere to go, and I'd get in my car and look at it and realize, oh my gosh, it's almost on E. I have to go out of my way now and I'm gonna be late. Then I drive out of my way to go to the gas station, fill up completely frustrated, and then be 20, 30, 40 minutes late to my next appointment. And all this time I thought, I just have bad luck, or I just suck at time management. So think of this instead of bad luck as making calculated decisions on accident. Things you don't actually realize are happening. You're just not seeing what's really happening behind the scenes. So in my case, what was really happening was that I wasn't being intentional beforehand. I was driving past the gas station with the intention of wanting to go home and not thinking about tomorrow self, my tomorrow self. But if I got clear on what was really causing the problem over and over, I would have taken the time to actually make something that worked for me. To realize, okay, the problem isn't the day of, I don't just have bad luck. I am not being intentional with driving past the gas station. I'm not thinking about a 2-minute drive out on my way here compared to a 20-minute drive out on my way. I just kept jumping into the situation based off of my feelings, my dopamine. But when you make decisions that are calculated and strategic, and you try to gain awareness of what's really happening, just sitting down just for literally a minute, you can turn all of this bad luck into something that's actually supportive. For example, this ladder is supposed to represent bad luck when you walk under a ladder. Up, 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 up. But that same ladder can be useful if I use it correctly. Any tool you try to use can either support you or make the thing go totally wrong. If I put a ladder in front of my doorway and try and get around it every day, it's only a matter of time until I injure myself. But if I use it to help me get intentional with what it's actually for, now it's actually helping me progress faster. So here's the cool news. The areas you're struggling most right now with your executive functioning, whether it's time management, emotional regulation, organization, focus, and follow through, are actually signifying to you right now that you are lacking a proper formula, and instead you just have a default formula of, I don't know, just let dopamine handle it. It's a signifier that you're supposed to take charge of an area where you're not taking charge, and your dopamine's taking charge instead. And the thing about dopamine is it's gonna do whatever it wants, and we don't want that because there's nothing calculated about that, there's nothing strategic. So when you see all these black cats of issues that are coming up constantly over and over, especially, that's a sign that a formula from you as the CEO of your own life is needed, but you're acting more like the employee of your life. So oh gosh. So just know that every time you feel like you're having bad luck, if things aren't working out, that's a sign that you are actually supposed to be stepping it up. Think of yourself like having superpowers, but you don't know how to control them. You're being called forth to be that next level self, but you're not doing it because you're depending on dopamine or toxic productivity or whatever that weakness is for you. Start tracking the obstacles that are getting in your way and try and coach yourself to see what actually gets you out of it and even prevents it. There's so many things you can do, but it'll never happen and it'll never improve, and these black cats will keep popping up everywhere in your life if you don't start tracking what's happening. Here's the cool thing. The more strategic you get, the more you build your own luck because you make things predictable and you work on consistency. And when you do that, things become easier and easier, more trackable, and you build resilience when you're more confident in yourself. Take it from me as someone who has done everything the wrong way. I've very much Nikola Tesla'd my own life and found 10,000 ways not to manage my ADHD, and that's why I feel like I'm so good at managing it, because I've learned all the wrong ways to do it. Once I learned the right ways, it just doubled down. But the funny thing is, I feel a lot more confident as someone that's done it all the wrong way before, because now I know what to look for. So instead of it being a weakness, it's actually a strength. You just have to be a little more intentional. If you want strategies and structure to help your executive functioning, click in the link in the description below. Like and subscribe, and I'd love to hear what your affirmation is to better your life. Later, neighbors.